let's see how we could add some of our last functionality in the start, because now we've eliminated pretty much using the, what was it? Oh, yeah, the CF right here, the CFP code. Okay, but we haven't integrated it into our overall app, so we're not there yet. But I'm going to see how far we can get in this video. So the one thing I would look at over here, I'd bring up my main again. I'm going to comment out this, and actually we'll probably end up getting rid of it coming into week 12. We have our objects, we're not using them, but this actually, there's another way to do this. And I just showed you this because I wanted you to get the concept, because we've written, you know, we've used methods and now we're using methods, but we're using it in this context. Once the objects have been created, we can actually do this right in the constructor, which is really fun, because then it really does, in this sense, organize all the things around our footprint. So here's what we can do. Okay, so we're going to both add the total, and in this case we have, once we create new objects, well, we know once we create them we're going to run household points and house size points, and we need a total, right? So we can do all those three things right inside the class and then eliminate them in our event listener, and again very much organize our code better. So let's do this. Let's first go, and in this case the constructor runs whenever we're setting up a new object. So we can just call on the constructor this dot household points, right? You can just call it like that. Oh, you know what? That's a good point. Yeah. I don't actually know if you need a semicolon there, but this, I think it's probably fine to do it. House size points. So that way, every time we set up a new, we instantiate, create a new instance of, right? So what we can do is come over here, right? Now that we've done that, we can get rid of this right here. We can say, nope, I don't need to do that anymore, because when I create that new object, right, will in the constructor do those things. So now let's finish this up by saying what's the last thing we need to do is a total, right? So we could create another new, right, that would be total in this case, and this should be easy, right? This dot total, we're creating a new value. It's going to be equal to this dot household points plus this dot house size points. Check that out, right? So then what do we need to do here? Now that we've created it, again, we can just call it. Now, the order here would be important, is we can't do this, right? We need these to be done in order. So this dot total is really all we would need to have all the data available to us inside of our class. Isn't that cool? I don't know. I just think it's so fun when you can reorganize things that help the code be more readable. Now, in order for it to be more readable, you have to walk through it, right? You have to understand what happens when we call new. Right? So in this case, we know what happens here. Let's create the new object, but check out what happens as soon as we hit that first, in this case, method called on the constructor. It runs it. Boom, boom, boom. Right? And then total. That's really awesome. So now, if we go next and we come back to here, we can see that FP object. Now what's on? Oh, FPOBJ. Right. We can see what's on there. Awesome. Again, the order is going to throw us off on the render, but that's okay. We can fix that. And actually, what else is going to throw us off here, right? Is I change some names. And I think that, we could look at how easy, matter of fact, let's just kind of step through the next steps of what we need to do. Okay, so what else would we need to do to eliminate the start completely? Well, we'd need to push the object into the array. Now you could think about doing it in the class, but this one seems logical to do. Let's go to main sorry, didn't mean to hit my mic. Is not doing it here is why not just do it, because you have it here, right? So you'd say dot push Now when we do this step, right, if we don't comment that out, the start, then we're going to duplicate our objects. Now this is where the render is going to break, because up until this point we have been not updating the CFP data. So this will break it. But I think it's pretty doable to fix. But let's make sure, this works, right? Okay. Actually, one thing I'd do probably is I'd probably just for kicks clean out the local storage and have a breakpoint set right after. And now we know this part works, we know that part works. I'd have it done right here. Now why would I do it there? Because I'm getting ready, and now I have that object, right? At this point I know it's an empty array the first time around. And when I push it, okay, now what is that? Oh yeah, so now it has in it that instantiated object. Is it really that different? We know the names are different, we're going to have to accommodate for that. But is it really that different from our code base to allow it to work? And again, the names have changed, so we know we have to do that. But we could just let it play out. Let's see what happens. Aha. Not completely unexpected, right? So we know, actually what do we know, right? So we could now step through our code, look at our render to see why is it breaking. Is because when I created the class, I updated these things, these key value pair, the names inside. So this is your last challenge for this section, is attempt to fix this now. See if you can fix it. So let's just for a moment, just to give you a little bit of a hint, look at the render, right? So in the render, oh, this is my old version of the render. I had already updated that, so I need to make sure I have that. So let's think about our render, right? So what are we rendering? Our table, right? Data link, no really different headings. Anything in the headings we need to change? Don't think so. It's in the body we would need to change. So in this case, render the body. Here's where the changes we would need to make would be. Okay? So see if you can do that. And it's kind of what we'd done originally. Right? So what about this code? Are we still iterating over objects? Yep. It's really, I'm going to point to it right in here, that we would want to change this code. And then on the solution, I'll kind of bring up, what else might we want to think about here. Okay? Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to commit the methods we finished up with, right? I'll give you a commit message, attempt the code challenge, last one for this section, and then I'll come back with a solution.